with this new variant.
There is a new variant? I wasn't aware of that either.
It's a new variant.
Yeah, it's a subvariant.
Yeah.
It's like a 2A or something, or a 2B.
It's BA 4 and 5.
Like
is there something else?
Super contagious this one is, and you can be reinfected with it numerous times. So, and it'll pass through the, all your vaccinations. All that does is prevent you from getting really sick, which is good. That's the purpose of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one, I mean, it's inevitable at this point, that everybody's going to get a little taste of it, whether with a family member or something. But
wow.
Yeah, it's not fun. But Betty, I kind of feel like it's, if we look at the numbers, it's right after 4th of July. Every time we look at any big spikes, it's some big national holiday. So yeah, I think that's where we're looking at.
I'm kind of wondering, how is everyone feeling? Because I've just been feeling like I'm just tired. I'm just tired of everything. It's like everything.
Yeah.
Like I just want to, can you just put me outside somewhere and not feel or deal with anything? I don't know, but I've been feeling like that since this Friday. And it's been like I've done things to distract myself and meditate and all of that. I went to Thomas Jefferson's and Monticello, and it's beautiful. But then they were talking about the history, and my heart was like, oh, my heart was just like, oh my God, this history is so intense.
It does feel, I mean, Marilyn maybe can speak to it, but it feels burdensome right now. And it feels like, it feels like for me that I don't have enough solitude, that it just feels like my whole day is occupied with taking care of somebody or something, or cleaning something.
I literally felt like I need to just unplug or go away somewhere where I'm not connected to anything. Like I don't want to have to think. I don't want to have to work. I don't want to anything. And that's exactly 4 days of this.
Yeah. Marilyn, do you want to do protection? And then if you feel inspired to maybe enlighten us as to what we're feeling, that would be great.
Cool. And I missed part of it. When were you diagnosed, Lisa?
I tested positive on Friday, but I've been exposed. I think Ken got sick last Saturday. So that's probably about the time I was exposed. I just didn't have any symptoms, so I didn't look into it. So,
okay. But you're still basically symptom free?
Yeah, pretty much. Just a headache. Yesterday I had body aches and I was sure I was dying, but I also think that maybe I just had, stress in my lower back, and that was causing, some, because I went to bed early and took an aspirin, and I am good today. So.
And Rosemary from our group got it last week also. Oh. And I know she was going to test today to see if she could go to work, or I was hoping that she'd come on the call if she couldn't go to work. But so it's everywhere. And in fact, I was
oh, don't forget about Erin has COVID too.
Right. So we're sending out good. And Marilyn, since you missed it, Erin's significant other is immune compromised. And so Erin is staying elsewhere until she gets better so that she doesn't expose him. So we'll keep all of them in our thoughts. So I'm going to go back and forth between muting my microphone and not, because now they're jackhammering. So Marilyn, I'll let you go.
We can hear it.
Oh, okay. I'm not muted, am I?
No.
Okay. Well, okay. Put your feeties flat on the floor. Feel how they connect. Have your palms up. And I'm told to say, let's just see what wants to come in, that we're all gentle, sweet flowers opening up to the sun. And we can feel our feet rooted to the earth. And we can feel our arms. Oh, the cat likes this one. She's talking. Feel your arms like they're spreading out like leaves. Feel the energy in the palms of your hands and in your fingertips. Let them stretch and open up and allow the sun to come in. Feel your spine straighten as your head floats upward just a bit to be closer to the sun, and feel your head go back a little bit as you face the sun. You can taste it, and you can taste the moisture in the air supporting you. Focus on the heart. The heart of the flower knows how to grow. It doesn't need to think about it. Doesn't need to open a book and see what it should do. The cat climbed on me while I'm doing this. She really likes this energy. All beings like this energy. Take a deep breath. We clothe ourselves in a robe of light composed of the love, the power, and the wisdom of divine consciousness. We wear it not only for our own protection, but also so that those who see it will be drawn to divine light and heal. Think for a minute about how a flower grows, what your images are. Maybe you had a little potted plant when you were young that had a flower. Maybe there's something you're coaxing back to life now. But think of the simplicity of what the flower wants. Some love, of course, some appreciation, water, energy, light. Energy, it's that source energy. And we're all tapped into that. Take a deep breath. And feel the comfort level, the ease of the flower, knowing what to do without having to think about what to do. Today is a good day to focus on what is, and the idea that, and so many philosophers have come up with this, that so much of our suffering is based on non-acceptance of what is. Well, what is pretty expanded in ways that we never could have imagined. In many ways, bringing us closer together, and in many ways, breaking down our idea of what we think should have been, could have been, how it must be. Let your heart feel, as we discuss, the rigidity that was taught to us on how we should be, how we could be, what our potential is according to other people's standards, how to grow, how to bloom. And maybe we wanted to please people and do it in the way they wanted us to, because it was with good intention. Maybe we had to learn to survive in other ways. But we like to think about all these things, and it's wonderful to think about. But to ease our suffering, or any suffering, and to help ease suffering in the world itself by raising our vibration and that of everything around us, come back to the flower. Take a breath and feel the top of your head opening up to the divine light coming through. Feel the light on your shoulders. Feel it in your throat. Again, as you lift your head and maybe slight movement towards the sun, towards divine consciousness, towards the light, and we let our mind relax. The heart knows what to do. And as we allow ourselves to feel our birthright, divine light, that connection, always there through the top of our heads. Notice the shoulders, let them fall down even more. Let the shoulder blades feel like you're a birdie at rest. The heart is open and enjoying the light. And feel your toes and the soles of your feet, and feel the roots going down into the earth. The earth is damp and sweet And it smells so nice, like after a rain. It's pliable and it accepts our roots joyfully. And we feel ourselves gathering strength from the soil as it goes up our stem, our legs, into our torso, up into the heart. From the heart filling up as it moves up our shoulders and arms and down to our fingertips. And in our fingertips, we can feel the environment around us. We can feel the air. We can feel the sweetness. I'm sorry about the background noise. But notice as the energy moves up the stem and through the throat, how clear and open the throat feels to talk about your truth, to be able to share your needs, to share the joy, and also to share the hurt and pain. And as we go up into the mind is relaxed in knowing that it is aligned with the heart and raised up to receive the sun. Maybe to interpret it, maybe not. Maybe just to feel it, maybe not. Just allow it and allow that connection up above your head and feel it one with light, with divine consciousness. Feel your heart open and the mind relaxing into the joy of now, of the simple sweetness of your breath and the sharing with each other and the love. And remember that divine consciousness is always with you. And it is the epitome of what you are. So when you look at a flower, you share that energy, and the energy of the flower smiles and recognizes you as one that flourishes in the light. And there it is. Sorry about the background noise. The kids were coming up and down the stairs, and the cat the whole time has been doing mushy paws, and she needs her nails trimmed. And I don't even want to look and see what she did, but she's a happy thing.
And she's looking at us.
Oh yeah, she's good. When I meditate, she'll sit and she'll put her paw on my forehead or on my cheek. She's funny.
Lynn, how are you doing?
Kitty. Oh, you're on mute.
Try upping your volume, Lynn. No.
No.
I did read your lips and you said you were doing better. And you have a new kitty.
Oh,
New family member.
here's a kitty. Say hello.
So cute. Marilyn, thank you for doing that today. The little flower part got me a little emotional. Not sure why. The minute you said that, I was like, oh, I'm a flower.
Well, it's interesting because as soon as I got on, they said, talk about, what are you growling at? Listen to her, you know? Oh, she's looking at the people. She's looking at people. She's so, I know.
She's like, what more is there to say?
Hello. About, it's so many people have talked about this when the idea of what something should be, and we were taught that from the word go, gets in the way of what is. She's had it. Well, she doesn't need any more talk. You're right. She's had it. It's nap time for her now. Yours jumped off too. Oh, there she is. But it's funny, the flower came in as we're, after we started, that came channeled in. But at first, when we first started, they said one of the biggest things to focus on today is our idea of what should be between COVID, our own personal lives and whatever is going on, but also COVID and the way the whole world is. This is not something we anticipated. We thought a lot of these things were done. We saw a play, and one of the songs talks about we got through it was after the First World War, we got through the war, and now that's done. There can never be another one. And the whole audience is like, you know, I mean, we really thought after, you know, we're boomers and our parents, it's never going to happen again. And, you know, and hopefully it won't. But there's so much going on that's not unprecedented in human life and behavior when you think about the generations behind us who've been through so much. But we might not be quite prepared for this. So the idea of what things should be, especially kids and school and the events that are missed, and I'm sure all of you who are working with people, it's really about focusing on the gifts that are coming in with this, because there are, even with the tragedy, and I'm not negating any of that, but I'm finding personally, there's so much, again, in the whole world and in personal things, giving up on the way you thought things should be. And it really clears the way for joy, even though things are the way they are. And I'm finding that that's a real key. And that came in as soon as I got on to focus on that. And then it just felt like the flower was an easy way, because while I was doing it, I was thinking, I'm listening, you know, and I'm thinking, ooh, you sneaky ones, I get what you're doing, because what they did, I noticed as it was going up, and I kind of caught on. So there's another conversation, and I was like, ha, ha, ha. And they were like, yeah. They had the energy coming up from the ground into the heart. They basically, I like this line, who used to do this? Letterman, when he had a good band on, he would say, let's blow the roof off the dump. Basically, I started laughing because I felt it coming up the stem into the heart. And then they're talking about that you don't have to think about how to do it. You know how to do it. So basically, even though you didn't lose your mind and it was there, if somebody said fire, you jump up, you wouldn't, you know, your brain can still direct you. But it basically to me, I caught on that they were trying to blow the roof off the dump. We think so much and so hard. And I think it's Descartes who said, I think, therefore I am. Well, that's very nice. But then what about being? How are we in terms of being and sharing? And I think, you know, when I think about, this is directed, when you think of Maya Angelou, oh, they took that away. Now they're going to something else. There's a quote that she says, but they're changing it to energy. Okay, you want to just play for a bit? Everyone want to play?
We need it.
Okay, because I don't want to, if there's something we need to be doing or change the agenda, they're just saying, we're all of us right now, this minute, in a place where we can, does everyone feel just slightly different, where the brain feels a little more disengaged and you're just energy? You feel that?
Yeah.
You want to play with this for a while?
Yeah.
All righty. So get comfy again. If you have liquid, take a sip.
Okay. Liquid tea.
Yum. And get comfy. Watch. I'm going to move my glasses because the cat's going to come back. And the cat came back. Okay. So take a deep breath. Notice how easily, is everyone having an easy time just getting right back to that place? So let's go over it just a little bit to get comfy. Feel your feet and feel how they tingle. Oh, and if anyone, I don't want to interrupt or close doors, so if there's any noise in the background, your flower just has some people walking by. But don't worry, nobody's going to step on the flower. Maybe they'll enjoy the flower or smell the flower. Notice how your feet do feel magnetized, not heavy, but delightfully, almost tingly, but in a sweet, sweet way, in a way that is a nice, easy, light vibration. Feel that. And again, feel the little tendrils of the roots going down. Feel the strength As it moves up, the nutrients in the earth, smell the earth, taste it, taste it. Notice how you can feel it on the tops of your feet as it comes up and up your legs. And as it goes all the way to the top of your legs, feel the lower spine relaxing. It's pliable, it's bendable, it's a stem, but boy, is it strong. Doesn't snap, it bends. It waves in the breeze. If there's too much rain and the flower is bent over, it's still receiving nutrients and it needs the rain, but that stem is holding it strong. No matter which way the wind blows, even if there are clouds. Notice what's going on in the sinus. We don't have to pull all the light up there, just notice it lightly. Notice the inner ear and notice the throat. Just feel that energy. Now we have that energy coming up the stem. Let it come up to your stomach. And let it almost rock your back, lower back, and stomach as if, imagine a very slight pelvic tilt. Energetically, you're not even moving, but you feel it. And then feel it release and go the other way, almost like, what is it, that cat pose when you arch your back. It is imperceptible, but you can feel it in your spine. The breeze is helping that stem just feel loose and free. And so that spine, the lower spine, feels that. And as it's moving ever so slightly, it releases the strain. It releases the pain. It just releases. And feel that energy going up through the midriff. Take in a breath and expand that midriff and stomach. You're drinking in the air, you're drinking in the sun. And feel it in your heart. Now, as you're feeling your heart and the energy extending out through your arms, let your heart feel. And very easily notice again the upper sinus, the throat, the inner ear. Because some of us are carrying some heartache in there. Some of us have heard things we wish we didn't hear, whether it was at home, young, whether it's people out there screaming and yelling because they're so unhappy and frightened. But notice how we've been affected. And now put the energy back to the heart and feel it expand and feel those shoulder blades fall back. And the heart is inviting compassionate consideration for any of the leftover things in your throat that need to be said or cried out. For what's in your mind, your own pain, other people's pain, unfairness. The sinus, above the eyebrows, the stress in the forehead, maybe the tears uncried. For the times you weren't heard, and for the times you heard other people and had such compassion, but didn't have the ability to ease the pain because it wasn't yours. You could just be there. Take a deep breath and notice how the heart is so strong and can hold all of this. Let the shoulders fall back down. Because the reason the mind is so cluttered, the reason there's grief in the eyebrows, above the eyebrows and in the sinus, the reason sometimes the throat closes up, the reason the ears, the inner ears sometimes feel tingly and strange, it's because you love so well and so much. And if you could cry out and help everyone, including yourself, you would. There are birdies singing. When the mind gets cluttered, it's good to tune in and remember the birdies. When the mind gets too heavy, it's good to remember the flower. Just feel the energy of that flower. Let the energy keep going up into the throat. Let the shoulders fall back and feel that energy soothing the lymph nodes in the neck, coming up around the jaw, and let your face tilt up for the light. Your face, you see, is the center of the flower. You don't have to think about what to do. You just tilt it back. The petals are happy and they're spreading out and just feeling the air. There's a little air coming through, and you can feel the breeze and you can hear the birds. And the mind is relaxed. And you realize with such compassion that the mind is doing its job, everything we were taught to do a good job, take care of others. Oh, they're laughing out there. Think of all the things you heard. Mind your P's and Q's, sit still, do this, do that. All the ways we were inhibited, all the ways maybe we were encouraged. But then we thought about it because that's what the mind does. But everyone in this group, everyone listening right here, a heart full of intention, a gut instinct full of intention. So our thoughts and our grief for the voice when we couldn't cry out, for those that have no voice, for those that aren't heard, for our own self when we're in pain and unable to cry out or told that we're just fine. Notice what's happening in the gut, let it go. It's tightening up. If you feel the gut tighten up, take a breath and feel like a little Buddha. Let that belly expand, let the midriff expand, and then let the shoulders go down. You see, the mind is your friend. So when we're joking about blowing the roof off the dump, what we're actually saying is the heart comes up into the mind and recognizes that our grief is because we love, that our angst is because we care, our frustration is because we want to make it better. So much of our grief is our helplessness in ways that we wish we could do, but we don't know how. Take a breath into that gut and recognize that you do it all the time. Every step, every intention, your gut knows, your heart knows. So when you get caught up in the mind, know that it's directed by the heart. Is that true of everyone? Well, everybody has the opportunity to be returned to authenticity. This group knows how. And with compassion for our own minds, we can have compassion for the minds of others, even if we need to walk away or put a stop to certain behaviors. We can understand that certain behaviors that we might not take a liking to started with a child trying to get approval and love from the parent, from the group, from the cult, even if it is one. But think about how we ourselves wanted to please, wanted to fit in, and our hearts have led us in the right direction because our soul remembers how to be the flower. Feel the feet. Our soul remembers how to stay grounded. They're laughing with joy with us. Our heart knows how to be expanded and extended out. And the thinker overthinks so that we can get it right. But when the heart comes up into the mind and on its journey soothes the throat and the sinus and the ears, we understand that in our angst and our desire and in our need and our passion to get it out there and help and do, deep breath into the gut. We are not powerless. We are very, very powerful. Because as we walk the earth with the truth of the nurturing, as above, so below, the sun, divine guidance, the earth itself, we have the vibration and the being as we walk through the earth with our roots attached and drinking in the sun, we're bringing balance, just as the trees do, just as the flowers do. And we're aligned vibrationally with all and with the other humans that are hungry to remember our very presence. Helps to make it so for them just by our being. We can talk about it. If it's cool, that's nice. But it isn't needed all the time. Our very being. Take a deep breath. And notice how content that flower is and how joyful, and whatever is going on around that flower, the flower knows how to be, who to be. It doesn't think about it, but just is. And we can do that too. And when we do that, our heart can visit our mind, give it a big hug, and release the angst and the pain, whether it's ours or somebody else's, in the knowing that we're aligned with our intention and the joy of what is and what we're bringing to what is. And as we expand and delight in the surprises that life and our heart can bring in this new day, in this new world, and with what is, within the context of it, as we bring it to a higher place vibrationally, as we contribute to it, because that flower knows it's not alone. Notice under your feet, those little roots spreading out under there. Mine just tickled the toes of somebody in our group. Oh, there it goes in another direction, tickling the toes. We're rooted. Take a deep breath and know that you're home, in comfort and in style, they say, within your vehicle. And you know that you can allow the mind to rest. But remember, it's a gift when it spins because it's trying to tell you something. And when it spins, notice with your gut that it's aligned with your intention. And if it's not, observe it. Learned behavior. Do I need this or not? Let it go. With compassion and love for your own mind. Because as you grew, you wanted to be good. You wanted to contribute. You wanted to expand. And there's no reason to not allow the center of your flower to go up towards the sun. That flower knows it needs the sun. It never has to hide. There's no shame, no embarrassment that any human can ever have that makes it so they can't look up and allow divine consciousness and the sun to come through them. It's our divine right. Remember that when you're at odds with others and you wish it were something other than what it is, remember their heart is in there. Remember that sometimes we struggle too. And notice and remember, just for our own memory and thought, how sometimes our own gut instinct went against what our heart wanted because we wanted to please, but it went against what we felt was right. Or the time our mind told us something other, or any of the times that the gut, the heart, the mind might not have been agreeing. And what a gift that is. Because in human form, we have that opportunity to discern and allow. And when we understand that the gut is leading us with our instinct, with our soul's knowledge, and our heart is filled with love and connected to all, and the mind is trained, and as we untrain it, we recognize that even as we were being trained, we wanted to do right by others and for ourselves. We really didn't need to be trained this way, but a gift that was as well, as we come out from under it and examine it. What parts had value? What parts can we let go of? As the people who taught us, hopefully with good intention, may or may not have had that much consciousness, Hopefully they had good intention. But here we sit, and here we grow. And now they'll come back to Maya Angelou. When we know better, we do better. But isn't it beautiful? Our first thought always is, well, why didn't I get that sooner? Well, you did and you do. Because even the things that you might be at odds with within yourself, the heart was trying to align with the gut, with the best intention. So let the mind relax. And let the heart continue to move up and feel it healing with warmth and light as the energy from the earth comes up, up, up. And the energy from the sun comes down into the face of our flower. And they meet somewhere around the throat, the ears, the sinus, wherever you need it most. And feel your flower grow and feel it be happy. And feel it quiver just a little bit in the breeze. And know that we're safe and that we're always, always connected. As above, so below, and to each other. And we can never be disconnected. That's a joke that the mind plays, but the heart, the gut, the connectiveness, the roots, the communication energetically that we all take part in with the all. It's happening all the time. So when the mind tries to tell us with a little mind game, observe, embrace it with compassion, and say, yes, I understand. There were so many things I was taught, and you've helped me along the way. Have love even for what you might perceive as self-imposed limitations, but they're not. They're what we did to figure out how to be authentic and real in the context of our growth and our situation. The heart is peaceful and the heart is happy. And the heart knows that we know how to do this always. And just bask in that energy for a while. Something sweet just came in. If you're feeling your flower and you're feeling your flower growing wherever it is it's growing, if it's outside as opposed to in a pot, if you're outside, I just got a sense of, well, and if you are inside in a pot, picture yourself outside, they're saying, and picture the strength, feel it. There are some tall trees growing around. You still get plenty of sun. But there are some trees and you feel their strength and you feel their support, even though they're not really intervening or nudging you or getting in your way, but you feel their strength and you feel their roots. These are our ancestors, these are our guides. And we have their protection and strength. Notice how your feet feel now as you recognize that energy. Notice how the spine feels. Notice the heart. Oh, how comfortable that is. Notice how the mind doesn't want to talk you out of any of it because the mind agrees and the mind feels the sunshine coming in. And you feel a wholeness of yourself from the roots, where the roots are connected all the way through, all the way up. Feel your hands and they're open. And feel the strength of the all, always there, like the tall trees. Oh, and they're smiling at us. They love to see us grow. And smell what it smells like. Taste that kind of damp, sweet earth feeling in your mouth. Feel your fingers moving just a bit with the air. You carry this with you always. It's always available. And when you think of the many ways in the images, the roots and the lungs, the vascular system, all of the things, the divine architecture, we are one with all of it. So we can tap into it for support and for what's real. Our flower moves with the wind and it bends and it sleeps and it closes and it opens. But it's strong and it's here for a purpose. And it's joyful in the being. Here it is. It's really nice as we're starting to hold on to the flower, but open our eyes. It's really nice to take a moment of what this feels like, almost like a photograph of it, mental image, how you'll memorize something you see and you can go back to it. Feel what this feels like, even as the gut is starting to come back to whatever's going on here, and know that it's available to you all the time. We have the capacity to feel what it is to be a flower, a tree. We have these abilities to tune into animals. Our energy is porous, and even just doing this expands. And I'm told to say, and it makes the flowers and the trees happy when we commune with them. So even that aspect itself raises the vibration. Yay.
Yay. How's that for playing?
That was kind of fun, huh? Was it okay? And kind of fun? Because again, I'm listening in a different way. It was somewhat cohesive, yes.
I feel like a marshmallow.
Really relaxed, huh?
Very
It was
relaxed.
lovely.
But I think they're really tricky. They were really, again, just getting our brains out of the way and teaching us that we could be relaxed with our brains functioning, which for me is a challenge a lot of the time, Yeah.
My mind just went blank. Nothing's in there.
Wow.
There's something in there, but
There's nothing in there right now. I needed that.
I think we all did.
yeah.
Yeah, me too. Because I feel like all floaty.
I wanted to say something and maybe I was connecting with you, Marie, but my first flower was a cactus with a flower coming out of it. And it was like nobody could get close. And it was still their pretty flowers or whatever, but it was like just standing there in the heat and surviving or whatever. But then it changed to that tree that has that white flower that's so smelly and beautiful. I don't even know what that is. They have like come out like a cone and then expand. Do you guys know what those are?
Magnolia or
Maybe.
Magnolia.
Gardenia.
So then I go back and forth between the two different trees, and I stuck with
Big and beautiful.
Yeah.
You can make a pie.
Oh yeah, but it was fun. So I think what Marie said about all some of us feeling like we just want to be alone or we don't want to handle all these things. There's a lot coming in all the time, with around us, way out there and within us. And so I get it, Marie. I'm totally with you. The only problem is when I brought that up to Ilona weeks ago, it deteriorated. So I didn't want to say anything.
Yeah. My flower, it seemed like it was a poppy, and I literally saw myself going through the stem and into the head of the flower, and I saw my face just take on the sun. It was like this, like I could breathe. It was so interesting, that experience, and I could feel the sun radiating all the way down. And then I could feel energy coming out of my palms. It was really cool.
Very cool.
Anybody else feel like sharing what kind of flower they saw? Donna?
I think it was a canis.
I
Just
don't-
like big and fluffy and orange.
How about you, Adele?
So we have 2 hibiscus plants that I bring in every winter and put out, in the spring and the summer. And usually they only have 1 or 2 buds at a time, but this year they're amazing. There's like 10 or 12 on each tree, on each plant. And so I sort of inserted myself into
middle.
my hibiscus. And they're different colors on the same, it is amazing how these nature works. There's red and peach on the same tree. It's just amazing to have multicolors, meaning we're so integrated, right?
Yeah, wow. Betty, I know you have to leave in a couple minutes. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here, and I have been driving, so I'm just listening, but I really couldn't do it. I apologize. My loss.
Don't
No
apologize.
need.
That's great. Well, keep driving, but be careful. I know you're leaving it, you said in about a couple minutes, so.
Yeah, I'm going to leave it about a minute or so, but I'm here. Hopefully we'll be on again next week on Zoom. So thank you. But I just, I'll just end by I'll just say that I've also been feeling very depleted and depleting. I realized when I went on vacation, I was in California. I realized like how crazy my life is and how busy I am. When I was reading, I've been reading the book, the Atlas of the Heart, and she was talking about how, about the weeds, like, sometimes you just have to take like a break, like just a 10-minute breather. And I've been realizing that I need to take some breathers. My life is unsustainable, in the way it's going. And it's, I think that's just where we're all at, it's just life is feeling overwhelming. So I just wanted to add that. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Betty. I think we can all relate, so appreciate that. Just drive careful.
Yeah. Thank you, dear. Have a good week, everyone. Take care.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Were you able to fix your microphone?
Lynn?
Nope. Okay. Can you, I don't know, I was just going to ask you what kind of flower you were, but I just imagine you're a bouquet. So, okay. How about you, Mary Beth?
I kind of did what Idel did. So I've been working with the flowers that I have around me. I have this plumeria that I've had for 12 years or something, and it got attacked. And so I moved it and I cut off all the leaves, and it was sick because that white stuff didn't come out. So it's sitting in the middle of my patio. It's in the way, but just so that it can get all of what we were talking about, right? And so I was inside that little bud. I have some flowers that I kind of went into, but one of them is a fuchsia, and the flowers go down, so it's hard for them to go up to the lights. But I just stayed within my own flowers.
I love fuchsia because, they look like ballerinas.
Oh, they're so beautiful. Yeah.
I just love them.
But I've been very connected to the trees. So when Marilyn was saying, and remember the trees are out there for you, I'm surrounded by Tory pines, right? They drop their needles in my patio all the time. But there's also there's a wonderful trail that we take Sochi on. And I feel a need to go to that trail because it's all sycamores and Tory pines. And you can recalibrate by just walking among those trees. And so that was very meaningful for me because I actually have the same trees outside. So they're a barrier between the traffic and my home.
Yeah. So I think that, the sense is that all of us are feeling the exact same way, that, burdened and overwhelmed. And, I'm sure all of us have something that we can share. But Janet, what do we do to take a break from some of this overwhelmingness that exists right now? What do we do besides, I know walking outside for 10 minutes or being in nature and things like that, but sometimes you're knee deep in the crap, and sitting there in the middle of it, and the option to step outside of it is not opportune at that moment. So what
Right, but so Lisa, and hopefully I know Lynn's playing around with her. Lynn, let us know if you can share. But there's a new thing of the fear of missing out now is fear of missing out on the moment. And I think that's what we need to look at. It's not the fear of missing out on the next event or traveling to Europe or whatever, or making the million or whatever it is. It's the fear of missing out what we have right here, right now, which Marilyn took us on on our little trip and an adventure. And we were right there in the moment, in the flower, taking in the sun, taking in the circulation. So bringing back, like when things get frustrating, I'll look at something that will center me, whether it's an ant on the floor or a flower. She said she can't figure it out. Or a beautiful noise or something. So we bring us back, because that's all we need to do is retrain our brain to be in the moment. And then we don't have to feel overwhelmed. If we take in everything that's going on in the world, yes, we're going to feel overwhelmed. But it's really a cool thing to work on and to really retrain our brains for that.
Yeah. I see you nodding over there, Marie.
Yeah. I was actually contemplating it. Michael Singer has this little exercise that I've been using more often than not, because like I said, I've been feeling like I just want to check out. And that's connecting to your inner self. And like we could do it right now. So just as I'm talking, just listen, say the word hello in your mind. As I'm talking, just keep saying hello, hello in your mind. And then begin to notice, where is hello coming from? Is it coming front and center? Is it coming from the back? Is it coming from the side? Where are you hearing the word hello? And then notice all the chit chat, the chitter chatter in your mind. Where did it go? And then notice if there's a stillness. So wherever you hear the word hello, for some of you, it might be in the back. That's letting you know that ego is kind of all over. And in the back, that's where your higher self is, trying really hard to come through to the front. And the stillness, that's your inner self, your higher self, giving you that space to be still in, because ego can't be in the present moment.
Yeah. I see Marilyn smiling. I wonder if she had a song like I did. All of a sudden the Beatles were saying, hello, hello.
I did. That's really funny. And I'm surprised it wasn't the Beatles. It was, I think it's Lionel Richie. Hello. Oh. That's how old I am.
Right.
But it was immediate. It was immediate how well that worked. It's like unbelievable.
Yeah, because your ego cannot exist in the present moment. It cannot exist in the present moment. So it knows to latch onto the left brain where all the data is, and it likes to create the chitter chatter in your mind. But if you notice, the moment you bring in your higher self and connect with her or him, you notice that there is this stillness. And where that stillness, that space that's created, that's what ego likes to fill up. And it literally creates that opening for you to just be in that space. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, it's really cool. And, first of all, Lynn, I heard your dog bark, so I think you're back. And,
oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
The dog did it.
She's been such a pain in the ass today. Tommy caught her.
Marilyn, I want to say that, I have a difficult time like concentrating long, in meditations and stuff like that. I really try hard, but you say a lot during meditation, take a breath. And then I'm like, oh, okay, take a breath. And now refocus again. So it's kind of the same effect, right, Marie? It's like me saying hello. because then I can regroup and reconcentrate on what's happening at that moment when she tells me, take a breath, take a deep breath, take, expand your gut, look like Buddha. Those are the things that catch me back in, bring me back into it, bring me back.
But you know what's so beautiful when you connect, when you really begin to have dialogue with that inner self, you're no longer just you're not even like in your head. It's like this knowing that comes through when you fully connect with your higher self that way. Because I've noticed that of myself nowadays when I'm feeling that pressure or that overwhelm, I'll connect with her. And it's not like it used to be where I could hear her in the back. It literally is like this knowing that takes over my whole body. And I've had conversations with her where I'll ask questions and she'll say, nope, if I tell you, you're going to be too much in your head. So no, you'll know when the time comes. Or she'll say, you know what, you're going to be so pleasantly surprised. Just wait and see. So it's interesting because she definitely knows me very well, right? But she's also been able to calm me when I needed it. Yeah. So when I discovered that, I was like, oh my God, this really does work. Because you could feel that space, that stillness she creates in your mind. And then the chitter chatter, you like feel it just going to the sides. And it's like, it's just noticeable, but you're not even engaging with it. It's really cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Almost magical.
Yeah.
It's really, it's so interesting hearing this. And it's because I'm aware during the channeling that it's in real time. I'll be getting a stream of something and then it'll stop and I'll hear someone has this going on. Like, okay, Lisa, breathe. The thing that came in about the sinus, the ears, the throat, that was very specific for certain people. And it's really interesting. So it makes me realize in listening to you, Marie, talking about we're agreeing to do this. We're signing up. So because we're allowing it, we're giving all our information out so our guides can feed it as part of, think of how beautiful that networking is. And we don't even have to think about it really. Mm-hmm. But the channeling that happens for our group is specific for this group, addressing individual things possibly as needed. Also, I'm told to say, not addressing specific things because our own little eureka moments those are the ones that we're going to remember more rather than hearing something. Because it's funny, we're hearing words and we hear them through our ears and our mind takes it in. But yet we're doing things on a soul level. So something is happening energetically. If they're downloading the words that will address whatever's going on for the group, imagine what they're doing energetically with us, dancing with us. Imagine, because think of a big funnel for all of us. We're like, I channel and it's coming in so broadly and it's like, okay, you say the words, but it's never that narrow. It's this big. The words are narrow. So what we're feeling is our own, I'm told to say, delight in being. That's what it comes down to. Everything else falls away and it's pure and sheer delight in being. And it's interesting because when the going gets rough, I told you this happened like, 10, 12 years ago, there were a lot of people and there was also, I went in the other room and I thought, okay, I need, putting out fires, whatever you do. And I went in the other room and said, oh, they helped me with it because I didn't have the creativity to think of it. What are you feeling? And all of a sudden I went, and by the time I went in the other room, everything was calm. So we have this to tap into all the time. And if we're doing it as a group, imagine how powerful that is because it's inclusive, but it also rolls out a broader, deeper, richer carpet for the all and everyone around us. Everybody around us is affected by how we do this, whether or not we see it. There'll be something more peaceful. Somebody will call that might not have thought of calling, but that energy is stirred up. They feel it. It's in so many levels. And even, I'm told to say, even when we come back to our thinker, it's going to be more relaxed. It's going to be calmer. And there's a piece of our gut that might be uncomfortable with that because we're used to, and picture the hamster that on the wheel, the hamster gets to lay back and have a little pina colada too once in a while, But when the hamster knows it can do that, it will still get on the wheel because it likes being part of the whole story and the interaction. So again, this is channeled. I don't know this stuff. They're saying, so when you come back to your flower, you're strengthening yourself to be happy in the forest and be one with all in the forest. But of course, feeling your course strengthened. So we don't need to think about it. It just is. And the other thing I'm told to say is they're tricky. They're fun out there. This is happening all the time. We just trained our mind to go along with it and quiet down so that we could do it with our heart without the mind getting in the way, so that the mind gets soothed. So it's like giving the mind a cookie and saying, you can come on the journey too, but you need to behave. And then the mind is so comfortable. It's really funny. If you think of Caesar training the dogs, all these dogs that are so hyper aggressive and miserable, if they learn that they don't have to be alpha dog, a lot of rescues, they've been on their own and they have to be alpha. They have to take care of everything. As women, we've been trained to be kind of alpha in that way. 20 people show up, you make a dinner, you do whatever it is, whatever it takes, you do everything. And so when we can relax the mind and realize it doesn't need to be alpha, and I know this from, our son has that dog bit Idell, I don't know how many times, but this little alpha dog named Serpico, who was found on the side of the road and the most nervous dog you ever saw. And they did the training with somebody who did it with Caesar. It's like, you have to train him he doesn't have to be alpha. He's living his happiest life. He doesn't have to be in control of everything, and he can just be. And
the dog has dementia now, that's why.
Well, but the dog had a series of strokes and the dog is so happy. Oh God, no, all that, but it's really, when they did the training was before they went to Oregon, everything shifted. The dog would just look up at them and be happy and not be shaking. We don't need to shake. We don't have to fix everything, even though we think we do. So if we can make peace with the mind, thank the mind, bless the mind, and pull it in, and the mind won't bully us and we won't bully it if it takes its rightful place as part of the staff and not the head. The head is the gut and the heart, and the integration, of course, is all. So what we just did was that, which we can do all the time. And it's just what Marie did, except she did it like this. We can trick ourselves into doing it because that's our natural state. It's where we want to be. And I know I forget. You'd think the mind is working overtime. I'd remember that, but no, because the mind really wants to protect us with the ego and all of that, So it really is quite beautiful. We don't need to be at odds with any part.
Yeah. I wanted to say Michael Singer, that's how he wrote The Untethered Heart. He was in the middle of like the worst chaos scenario you could possibly think of. He was under investigation for fraud and all kinds of things. Stuff that he hadn't done, but he was directly responsible because he was the CEO of the company. He said he was like five or 6 years, and he wrote this book in the middle of that chaos. And he said that he was not in turmoil at all the whole time, because he said all he did was sink into the seat of the soul and lean in and just let his higher self take over.
He is so cool. I totally.
He really is. That was so impressive to me. And mind you, this part that when I was listening to it, I don't know how many times I had listened to that until that time when I finally heard it again. I was in so much distress. For the first time, I heard what he was saying. And then I thought, oh, let me try that. And it was like instant.
When we're ready for the message, right?
Right. And after I did that, I'm like, but I've listened to this passage so many times. How did I miss this?
Quick question. I was going to look it up, but I'll just ask you instead. Is that a new book?
The Untethered Soul. The Untethered Soul.
Okay. I didn't know if there was another one called.
I said the heart. I'm thinking Brene Brown. Untethered Soul.
I wanted to make sure I wasn't missing one because I love this stuff. Oh my God. It cuts right to it.
Yeah.
I'm afraid we're not going to hear from Lynn when we finally got her voice. Lynn.
Hi.
Can you talk?
I think, what just occurred to me? I think Colette gets really excited by the energy of this group because she never acts like this. And the minute I get on Zoom, it's like she can't wait to start barking, and she had like 8 cookies and a couple of chews and would not let me catch her. It's like she gets hyper stimulated by the group. I think anyway.
It could be the energy, Lynn. Maybe the energy is she's really feeling it all.
Yeah. And she's like high energy anyway. And so I think that's what happens. So I think maybe we can have a little discussion about that.
Lynn just got out of the hospital with pneumonia, and I just heard her cough. How are you doing, Lynn?
Do you know, I'm so much better, but I still have a lingering cough, and you know, and it's in my head too. So I'm not really sure what it was. It was either aspiration pneumonia, which is, you know, you should sit down at a table to eat, and shoving spaghetti squash in your mouth, standing at the kitchen counter, you can choke. And that's what happened. And so I choked, and you know, when you do that, the doctor in the hospital explained to me that when you're choking like that, that gastric juices can get in your lungs, and that causes a chemical burn.
Oh.
And so that's called aspiration pneumonia. So it's a really good idea to chew your food and swallow it down your throat, not inhale it.
Wow.
So that could be, I think that's what it was. But then I think I may have also had a virus because it's in my head too. So I don't know. I think it was a combination of stuff. But yeah, I couldn't breathe. My, you know, that little thing you put on your finger, that oxygen meter.
Yeah.
My oxygen was at 86, and I really literally could not breathe. So I just drove myself to the hospital. But anyway, I'm feeling much better. I'm just, you know, going through Kleenex and cough syrup, and you know, so now it just feels like a cold. But yeah, it was a really interesting experience. It's like when I came back home, it was like I felt like I'd been gone for a month. So
so Lynn, that was all caused from, I mean, you know, the funny side of it is, you know, eating at the counter and not, you know, on the run. Yeah. Thing. So that's what they think it was not the spaghetti squash itself. It's just the fact that you weren't taking time to eat your dinner properly.
Right. You should chew. You should sit down and you should chew your food. And so my friend, so I was boarding. I had 2 little dogs. So I had 4 little dogs here. And I had at 2 o'clock in the morning, I was like just exhausted. And so, and I sent an email to my 2 friends that I'm kind of in business with for this house sitting. And I said, I quit. I can't do this anymore. I'm too old. I'm too tired. And then at 6 in the morning, I'm like, can you guys help me? I'm in the hospital. And so they had to come and babysit my dogs and the 2 dogs I was babysitting. And my one friend left put a placemat on my dining room table and put a note on it: sit here, eat here.
You know, it's hilarious, Lynn. I mean, this isn't really funny, Lynn, but I'm glad you're okay. But you know, my ex, oh my God, he used to take these huge, gigantic bites of food, one right after the other, and then he'd sit there and just chew forever. And I'd be like, God, if you took a little bite, we could actually have a conversation, because you wouldn't have to chew for days. And I remember saying to him once, do you have to chew forever like that? And he just looked at me and goes, yeah. And I was like, well, you know, me being a bitch at the moment going, yeah, I don't think so. And I, you know, walked away, but now I guess you do. And he's probably right. Damn it.
Yeah, I think Hector has the right thing, Lynn. I don't know if you saw the post that Hector made, Mary Beth, but it said, it's not that you're hungry, you're thirsty. So you need to go drink a pitcher of margaritas and you'll be okay.
I agree with that.
I can't tell whether I'm hungry or thirsty. So I literally have to ask myself, like, are you sure you're hungry? No, I'm thirsty. Margarita time. And I haven't had a drink since like July 4th or whenever this started. So I must really have been not feeling well.
Yeah.
I know, but I'm starting to feel like I can almost think about a glass of wine. So I'm definitely on the recovery now. But I wanted to tell you about that little cat that showed up. He fell out of the sky. And his name is Happy Camper.
And you're going to keep it?
Apparently.
Oh, cool.
It wasn't my plan, but I'm sure I'm the only person who could give him a good home.
Yeah.
There's no one else on the planet that could do it.
But you are the best. You are the best.
Oh, God. So last night, he, got this little extra skin down here. So all night long, he's going, like sucking on my double chin. Like, that is really embarrassing.
Maybe I should stop the recording now, but Marilyn, I just wanted, Lynn, I wanted to ask you what flower you were.
I was a sunflower.
Oh, it's a beautiful flower. That's a great.
I actually have a volunteer sunflower in one of the pots in my backyard, and his head was drooped because it's just too hot and I can't keep enough water in the pot. But so I was a sunflower, and they follow the sun, and they do thrive in this heat. But boy, when it was when the roots were moist and damp and cool, my sunflower really appreciated that. But it was fun being the sunflower. So it like strengthening, like kind of going with the wind and being pliable. Almost, it's like I need my spirit to be more pliable now, because I get really especially when family members are scared. It's almost like the fear is contagious, and I know it's up, I pick up on other people's fear. Like when I had to go to the hospital, and it was, I was lonely driving myself to, letting all 4 little dogs out at 2 a.m. to, pee one last time. I wasn't scared. I mean, I can handle my own stuff. Like, you get in the car and you go to the ER. That's pretty simple, and then they'll figure it out. But then, when my brother gets sick, and it's like, oh my God, like, it's like fear is catchy. Like what the other people out there are doing is catchy. And so it's having a sunflower to go back to as a safe place when other people are doing their, I don't need to be in all that. It's like, not my monkey, not my circus. I don't need to absorb that. I can just go back and, be my flower and bend with the wind and blow with the breeze and maintain my own integrity. But yeah, I'd like to be a sunflower.
I think we can all relate to that, Lynn. So, plus the sunflower is one of my favorite flowers in the whole wide world. So that's beautiful. So just reach out to us if you need us. We're here at 2 a.m. as well to support you. So just a phone call away. So don't ever hesitate.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, just to be supportive from a distance, but we can be there for you if you need us. So
thank you.
Doesn't have to be. So we didn't get to talk about our second chapter, and I was going to be all excited because I memorized those 2 words, and now I don't remember them, so it's just fine. The shooting daughter and the shotgun, whatever. I worked really hard on those because I really thought we would talk about them. So next week, I'm going to spend the whole week learning those 2 words. My brain is a sieve, so I never ever can retain anything. And I said, okay, habitual. If you repeat it 100 times, you'll learn it. And it's not the case. So we'll try again next week. But
I'll write it down and see it. So it's been proven that if you see and hear, like 2 methods, then you get it.
Well, then I'm going to work on that this week. But
those 2 words are hard because the spelling and everything. I mean, I know the words, but don't ask me to say them because.
Freude. Well, it's German.
Freude. Yeah, they're German. But yeah. I meant to ask you, ladies, because I mean, there's a whole series of words, right? Comparison, envy versus jealousy. we're only going to be able to focus on one chunk of it because there's a lot in that chapter.
Yeah, there is. I did find, I mean, obviously we'll cover this next week, but I did find it really helpful. And I really took some time to think about the difference between the word envy and jealous, you know,
right?
And that was huge for me because just 2 days ago, I yelled at my son as he was going to a bar, and I'm here in COVID, so I can't go out, and I'm yelling down the stairs, I'm jealous, you know, and I thought about that, and I'm like, no, I was envious. Wasn't jealous about it. So, but I really think that we can really get into depth on that topic. So, Marilyn, I keep seeing you raise your hand. Did you want to?
No, I just wanted to say all the years I always made the comment that my head is a sieve. And one day Sarah said, you really shouldn't say that about yourself. And I stopped and thought about it. A sieve is a wonderful thing because it holds on to what it needs.
See? Okay.
You let go of a sieve is holding what you need and it's letting go of the rest.
Evidently, I don't need Schaffenfreude or Fragenfreude or whatever those two are. So I like that, Marilyn. And Marilyn, before we go, first of all, thank you for today. It was beautiful. I know it was spontaneous, and I think that it was something we all needed. So I know I did. I know that I'm dealing with some demons today, and I really feel like I'm, you know, more centered right now. So thank you for that. But before we go, what flower were you?
I was a daisy. Just a sweet old daisy. Pretty happy too, with an orange center, yellow orange center, and just white petals.
Yeah.
Happy. Not that big either. It was just fine. Yeah, isn't that funny?
Well, that's exactly what I was, Marilyn. There weren't any leaves on my stem. It was just a long, slender stem with a teeny little daisy bud at the top. So
you know, when you draw a picture of a flower when you're a little kid, you put the two leaves like that. So that my arms were those leaves, you know, those two leaves. And I was like, okay, you know, well, it was a happy and powerful little flower.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah.
So thank you again. What a nice morning. And I think we all needed it. So I think we're feeling like we can tackle this week. Marie, you're still traveling, right?
Yeah, I'll be leaving on Friday. So coming back. She is doing wonderfully. The only issue she had was she didn't like her bum being exposed, but now she seems to be adjusted, and she's grown so much in a week's period, you know, so she's doing beautifully. I hate to leave her, but it's time to go home.
But is that almost a full circle thing? You know, you don't want your butt to be exposed when you're an infant or an older. So maybe that's something, that's where it starts.
It's funny because she was 6 pounds, 12 ounces, and you could see the little cheeks getting bigger, and you're starting to see her little baby bumps, and just so cute.
Enjoy every second of that. And we'll start next week. I hope everybody has a great weekend. We'll start again Monday on the book.
Okay.
Thank you. Lisa and Lynn, feel better. Take care, everybody.
Take care.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.